Something has happened to you in this moment. Maybe you don't have words for it yet, but your chest carries a quiet certainty that time hasn't been able to erase. You have been waiting for a true love, a meeting that was written long before you were born, and the delay wasn't abandonment, it was protection. What I'm about to say isn't for everyone listening. It's specifically for you, the one who has been holding your place while destiny prepares what is yours. I came to show you what's happening behind the scenes of your life. By the end of this conversation, you will recognize the 4 clear signs that this promise is drawing close to your real encounter. You will understand why your pattern of waiting had to be transformed and what the one mechanism was that was blocking your harvest. And before we finish, there is a revelation about your identity that is the real reason you stopped here today. At this very instant, you have been feeling a loneliness that strangely doesn't hurt like before. It's a loneliness that purifies, as if your heart is being emptied of everything that doesn't belong to the new season that is beginning now. You notice your intuition is sharpened, almost like a constant alert, sensing presences or shifts in energy that no one around you can perceive. There are days you wake up with an unexplainable calm, knowing the wait is over, even though the world outside insists nothing has happened. This isn't imagination. It's your inner preparation, aligning with the reality taking shape in the unseen. Take a deep breath with me now. Let this truth calm your anxiety. If at least one of these signs touched you, if your shoulders dropped and you felt a pang of recognition as you heard me describe this state, type the number 888 in the comments. Your fingers typing those numbers are your spirit saying yes to what is being brought into the light. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. The number 888 carries the frequency of overflow, the promise that what was contained will finally flow. Type 888 and come back to me. Beneath all this waiting, there is a gear you have been operating without knowing. You have been trying to force a door that is already unlocked, using keys from attention. You need to prepare yourself now. I have prepared material for those who doubt their own calling from God and still do not have confirmation. Are you one of the chosen? We'll give you that clarity. These are the 7 signs of the language of the calling, marks of God in the story of every chosen one, so you can reread your story and recognize the purpose sealed over you before the foundation of the world. Stop calling coincidence what is actually a calling. Stop silencing the sacred restlessness. Stop postponing the answer you feel. Your window is closing, and a chosen one who does not recognize the calling does not walk in purpose. More than 10,000 people have already read the 7 signs and received the conviction they had been seeking for years. They were just like you. They felt something no one understood. They lived in silent doubt, and they discovered it was real. And it had a name. The offer is open only this month. Access the link in the pinned comment now before doubt steals another year from your calling. Using keys from other seasons of your life. The problem isn't your lack of worth nor the scarcity of the world. The problem is the mirror you carry. Imagine your heart is a mirror that has been fogged up by voices, other people's expectations, and scars from stories that weren't even yours. For a long time, you sought true love, trying to see yourself through reflections that didn't belong to you. You placed yourself in front of audiences that weren't paying attention and tried to sustain an image of strength that was actually just hiding your need to be seen exactly as you are. What you lived through wasn't a wrong turn, but a long winter. The soil of your life had to be worked deeply. No one plants a giant tree in ground that hasn't been cleared of old roots and weeds. This time of waiting was the time when your soil was prepared to nurture a love that has roots, that has sustenance, that isn't fleeting. Your heart went through this plowing so that when the encounter happens, you won't just be an attractive person. You will be a person ready to sustain a real, whole, and blessed connection. If something inside you just sealed, if the image of the mirror being cleaned fell into a place you can't explain, type the words "I see" in the comments. Let that recognition seal where it just landed inside you. The act of typing those words makes the witness permanent in your own record, and what is recognized can no longer be lost. Type it and come back to me. You have been operating under the false premise that your loneliness is a market failure or a misalignment with destiny. But the truth pulsing now is that the waiting you went through worked as a silent calibration. You were trying to find the right person while still inhabiting the skin of the person you needed to leave behind. And understand, there is no judgment in this. It's just the protection mechanism your spirit created when the first doors closed in your face. You learned to be self-sufficient as a shield, but that same shield, though it kept you safe, ended up creating an invisible barrier for those who tried to approach with pure intentions. Your search, many times, was made in places where nothing could grow. In arid ground, you insisted on watering with your own energy. And here is where the mirror metaphor becomes your liberation. The mirror of your soul wasn't broken. It was only covered by a dust made of expectations and frustrated attempts to fit into the world. Every time you tried to be who you weren't to be accepted, a layer of dust accumulated. Every time you waited for someone who didn't have the capacity to see you, the reflection grew more opaque. And yet, time didn't erase your essence. Time only kept your true love for the moment you would be ready to see yourself with the clarity of someone who no longer needs approval from others. Imagine your heart went through a harsh winter. Winter is not a punishment for the earth. It's the period when the seed descends into the depths, far from the surface, where the cold can't reach the root. Down there, in the silence of the soil, the seed gathers strength. You have been in this process of invisible nourishment. While the world outside seemed to be moving, you were being prepared for something far more robust than a fleeting passion. You are being prepared for a union that brings blessing, a partnership that doesn't need to be earned, only recognized. When the mirror is clean, there is no more room for the mediocre. You stop looking for crumbs because you finally recognize the banquet your own existence carries. This waiting was not a void, it was a construction. You are being sculpted into the person who can sustain the love you asked for. Your identity changed while you were distracted by life's signs. You now understand that true love is not something you will go after, but something that will find you at the exact point where your authenticity and your purpose intersect. There is no rush, because what is sealed by time and divine intention is not lost and does not fade. Everything that happened until now was only the fine-tuning of your magnetic field, preparing the environment for the arrival of that person who will not come to complete what you lack, but to celebrate the fullness you have finally claimed in silence. Stay with that certainty now. Feel how the weight of years of waiting begins to transform into a lightness of someone who knows exactly who they are. Your pain was the chisel, but the final work is someone who no longer begs for attention, because they understand that their value is intrinsic, sacred, and absolute. Take a deep breath and allow this new identity to settle in your chest, without resistance, without fear of tomorrow, only with the deep gratitude of one who realizes that, finally, the pieces have started to fall into the right order. What is reserved for you is greater than any shadow of your past, and the alignment you feel now is the irrefutable proof that the cycle of waiting has ended. Remain in this state of reception, because when clarity arrives, it doesn't ask permission. It simply floods your being with the truth that the love you so long sought was, from the beginning, waiting for you to be ready to receive it with open arms and a clear soul. Maybe you still don't have words for it, but something inside you moved, and I came to tell you what it was. You carry a question that no one around you could answer, and now you will hear the answer. You have been trying harder than the people around you, and still the door hasn't opened. There's a reason, and now you will hear it. By the end, you will recognize the signs that have been appearing in your life and what they really mean. You will understand the pattern that has been blocking what you so deeply seek, and you will receive a confirmation about the love that time cannot erase. You have noticed certain repetitions, haven't you? Sudden waves of emotion that come without warning, conversations that used to be trivial and now feel empty, the sensation that your internal clock is in a different rhythm from the world outside. You have been waking up at the same time multiple times, as if there is a call to a vigil only you perceive. This isn't restlessness, it's calibration. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. Take a deep breath with me. Let it settle in the part of you that has waited the longest to hear this. Behind this waiting, there is a mechanism you have been operating without knowing. You have been pulling strings that are no longer attached to anything. You have been confusing your loyalty to a past that has already ended with your preparation for what is coming. Your heart is like a mirror that for a long time reflected only the dust of other people's expectations. To see the reflection of true love, time had to clean that surface. Your heart is soil that needed a long winter for the roots to grow deep enough. Let the recognition seal where it just landed. Type it and come back to me. There is a specific frequency that precedes the great reunions of life, and you have felt it vibrating in the center of your chest during these days of quiet. This is not a coincidence, nor a passing effect of your melancholy, but a tuning adjustment. You have noticed that the conversations that once filled your daily life now sound like echoes of a language you no longer speak. Friendships that seemed solid have lost their shine because your magnetic field has begun to attract something that demands a new vibration, something much deeper and aligned with your destiny. You have been waking at specific hours, feeling a call that has no name, and this awakening is the clearest sign that the love designed for your existence has already started moving toward you, traveling paths that defy human logic. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. You have been operating under the illusion that you need to force doors, that you need to present yourself to audiences that were never really paying attention to your worth, when in truth, your only task should be to clean the mirror. Imagine your heart as a courtyard that for a long time was used as a passage for strangers who didn't know how to value the ground they walked on. The hidden pattern that has been blocking what you seek is exactly this insistence on keeping the lights on for those who have no intention of staying. You have been searching in the wrong places, with the hunger of someone who needs to be seen, without realizing that true love is not something you seek, it is something you receive when the courtyard is finally in order. This long winter you lived, where nothing seemed to sprout, was in truth the time necessary for the roots of your essence to deepen. It wasn't an arbitrary pause, it was a soil preparation. Your inner self had to go through loneliness so that when love arrived, it would find a structure capable of sustaining it, a house that does not tremble at any wind. Type it and come back to me. What you call pain or delay is only the architecture of your own identity being rebuilt so that you will not accept less than what was promised from the beginning. Every tear shed in the silence of your room was not a loss. It was a brick laid in the foundation of the person you have become, a person now whole who does not need emotional crutches to stand. Take a deep breath with me, letting this truth settle in the part of you that has waited the longest for a confirmation. If something in this message confirmed what your spirit already knew, let your light be your wordless amen. Not as a metric, but as a deep agreement that what was named here was named correctly. You are no longer in the phase of seeking, but in the phase of being found by what you have cultivated in secret for so long. Time has no power to erase a connection that was written in the stars, and the waiting is only the necessary interval for destiny to finish setting the stage where you and true love will cross paths, without filters, without hurry, and with the blessing that only arrives when the soul is finally ready. Stand firm in your truth, because what is coming is not just a meeting. It is the final recognition of who you have always been. There is a layer of silence that has formed between you and the people who walked beside you, a distance that is not born from hurt, but from a frequency that has become incompatible. You have noticed that the conversations that once filled your day now seem like echoes of a version of you that no longer exists. This did not happen by chance. It is the necessary process of detachment so that the new, what you await with so much hope, finds space to bloom. You have been prepared for something that does not require effort, but your readiness. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. The pattern you operated for years that need to force doors or prove your worth to those who had no eyes to see is now dissolving. The diagnosis is simple. You were trying to harvest fruit in soil that had not yet received the seed of your purpose. Imagine a mirror covered by a thin layer of dust. For a long time, you looked at yourself through this filter and did not recognize the brilliance that was always there. The cleansing you feel now is not a change of personality. It is the removal of what was not yours, the revelation of your raw essence. You are like an old courtyard in a house that went through a long, harsh winter. While the world outside saw only cold and silence, what was happening inside was a deep ploughing, a silent preparation of the soil of your soul. The roots were deepened, the structure was strengthened, so that when the harvest season came, your heart would not only receive true love, but be capable of sustaining it with the maturity of one who knows exactly what it cost to get here. No part of this process was wasted. If something inside you just sealed, if the image I showed you fell into a place you can't explain, type the words I see in the comments. Type it and come back to me. There is someone in your life who needs exactly this message right now. Someone who has been trying harder than everyone around them and still sees the door closed. Someone who has been quiet in a way no one around can understand. Someone whose face just appeared in your mind as I spoke. Send this to that person, not as a recommendation, but as a delivery, a notice that the phase of solitary waiting is ending, and that recognition is on its way. Before this ends, type the words, "I am the chosen one," in the comments, not as a wish, nor as a hope, but as a confirmation that the agreement between heaven and your hearing has been sealed. Let your fingers do what your spirit is already doing. True love is not a chance that luck brings in a moment of carelessness. It is a destiny you have cultivated, even without knowing, through every renunciation you made to keep your integrity. While many accepted crumbs out of haste, you chose silence and alignment. That is the seal of one who does not settle for less than what was designed for your path. Time does not erase what is being built in the invisible. On the contrary, it only removes what is superfluous, so that when the meeting finally occurs, there will be no more noise or interference. Take a deep breath with me now, and let this truth settle deeply into your consciousness. You went through periods where loneliness seemed like a sentence, but today you understand it was only a necessary cloister for your preparation. Your intuition, which you once tried to ignore to fit into other people's patterns, has become your most precise compass. What you feel now is not just expectation. It is the memory of something that is already happening. The true love that comes with divine blessing carries a quality of peace you have never experienced before. There is no need to convince, no need to interpret confusing signs, no need to make yourself smaller to fit into someone else's life. When the alignment is real, the door opens because you simply walk toward your place. And that place has always been waiting for you. The weight you carried for so long, the feeling that a piece was missing, now transforms into a lightness of one who finally understands that you were only fulfilling your time of maturation. Allow this new clarity to wrap around your thoughts, undoing any shadow of doubt that the past still insists on projecting onto your horizon. You are being prepared to be fully recognized, and that is the promise that time cannot erase, for it resides not in the hours of the clock, but in the unchangeable decree of your own nature. There is someone on your journey, someone whose face just came to your mind as we spoke, who has been crossing a silent desert of hope. That person is someone who strives to keep up appearances, who smiles even while carrying the weight of a search that no one else sees, and who often feels tired from sustaining a faithfulness that seems to have no reward. Send this recognition to them, not as advice but as a delivery, a notice that the cycle of solitary waiting is being finalized and that the harvest, which was sown in the dark, is about to sprout. Before we conclude this moment, type the words, "I am the chosen one," in the comments. Do this not as a request, nor as a desire, but as a confirmation that the agreement between the high and your hearing has been sealed. Let your fingers do what your spirit is already proclaiming. Feel the relief this declaration brings to your nervous system, as if a piece that was out of place has finally clicked into its rightful destiny. You are committed. You are sent. You are being led. Right now, all over the world, other people are receiving this same recognition and awakening to the same call. You are part of something greater that does not need to announce itself with noise or artifice, and that is exactly why your truth is unshakable. Attention! You need to prepare yourself now. I have prepared material for those who doubt their own calling from God and still do not have confirmation. Are you one of the chosen? We'll give you that clarity. These are the 7 signs of the language of the calling, marks of God in the story of every chosen one, so you can reread your story and recognize the purpose sealed over you before the foundation of the world. Stop calling coincidence what is actually a calling. Stop silencing the sacred restlessness. Stop postponing the answer you feel. Your window is closing, and a chosen one who does not recognize the calling does not walk in purpose. More than 10,000 people have already read the 7 signs and received the conviction they had been seeking for years. They were just like you. They felt something no one understood. They lived in silent doubt, and they discovered it was real. And it had a name. The offer is open only this month. Access the link in the pinned comment now before doubt steals another year from your calling.